So actually, on the orange team, we have I Prefer the Air from UMD, and on the blue side, we have Got a Blast representing Lafayette College. And the kickoff is underway. Easy Street taking that ball, winning it back towards his field, and that's just going to be an open net right there.
Ooh.
PXG Panda right there for the save. Good positioning. Goes up for that tap and follows it up in the air. That's the sign of a good player right there. Being able to fully maintain control on every hit. Hitting the ball with purpose, not really hitting it just to hit it. That is an actually great pinch out of Panda right there, forcing it up on the wall and down into midfield. Kind of a hard ball to judge at first, but the defense is there to get it out of the Got a Blast.
Yeah, and you said Panda would be a guy to watch for, and he's already showing us he knows what he's doing out there. Now he's getting the rush started for UMDs. Personally, I prefer the air.
Great save out there from Dog, and PXG Panda almost beating out the defense right there, but Dogger was positioned for that pass. He was dribbling it up the wall and trying to knock it out to his team, maybe baiting somebody to go for a clear there, but no going on that score right there. A nice shot in from Easy Street, going to be even better of a set, but PXG Panda, it seems like he's all over these touches right now. And again, SG with the dribble up in the middle in the air, but Uga right there to knock it off to the side. PXG Panda is going to try to pinch it up on the wall here, centering it for his team. We're going to get a little back and forth going. Let's center on the orange side right here and see what kind of offense they can score right here. And right there, PXG Panda stalking this ball. He sees the pass go up, gets full boost, turns around, and kind of patiently waits. Maybe Uga's going to hit it, but he doesn't, and goes for that ball knowing that he hasn't opened his hands to score. Personally,
yeah,
I prefer...
Easy Street was just sitting in the bottom of the net. I think he was trusting his teammate to be able to make it clear, so he was just sitting there waiting, but PGX Panda was able to tap it in right under him.
PGX Panda first up to that ball, not really making it clear on it, but maybe disrupting a hit that would come in. Like I said, we need to watch for him in these matches. I think already we can tell he's going to be the defining player of this set.
Definitely. Nice clear by SG.
Almost a great passing play out of Personally I Prefer the Air. Personally I prefer lots of goals. Personally I prefer lots of good games. But I want a shorter name. It's really a mouthful.
Yes, we might just have to call him Personally, or the Persons.
The Persons.
Yes, not the people.
Or we could just call them Air, you know.
That works.
Or we can call them the.
Good,
Something to attest that.
Great suggestions.
SG with the set in the middle right there. Penophobia trying to get the ball, both the attacker and defender missing the ball at the same time. Ooh, and Easy Street missing the clip over there in midfield, but a pinch over from Got a Blast is sending the ball over to the right side. PXG Panda first up to that ball, kind of knocking it aside. He used his advantage on the ball to hit it towards the wall, but not that hard, so that it would drop onto his teammate for a better clear. Because if he hits the ball too hard off the wall, it will center for the other team, and that's great awareness out of him as to not. That's how you want to play defense. Trying to pass it in between your own box, your own players, not to the other team. And the ball is kind of won over here in midfield. SG trying to get the tip back, but everybody misses it. And Peanut Phobia, I feel that if he just took a little bit more time on that ball, that would have been an easy chance to score. All the defenders had gone up, and it was an open net. He was just a little too quick on the trigger there.
Yeah, it's pretty rare when you see every single player going for the same ball like that. But yeah, nobody was able to actually put it in the net. So still just up by one. Personally, I prefer the air. Little under 2 minutes to play.
Peanut.
Just like that, it's 2-0.
Peanut Phobia with the redemption shot here. We're going to follow him from here. He sees the ball up here. Watch this. He takes the ball right off of the bounce, driving into it and not flipping, and then immediately falling it up in the air and knocks it in the top portion of the goal. That is a expert shot right there. It takes a lot of practice to know when that opportunity arises, and good patience out of him. He knows exactly how to set the ball for himself and followed it up to smash it home. PXG Panda with a set off the wall here. Darglyph gets a good save out, pretty high up, right in the middle, but Peanut Phobia there kind of whipping the ball. Not a good return back in from SG, but Darglyph kills PXG Panda. And I think Darglyph, if he keeps that up, he might want to keep going for PXG Panda. Take him out of the match, demolition him, bump him around. Be as aggressive as you can to these players, because that may be their chance that they need to get in here. Because as far as I see, I'm not seeing any offense out of them. Right as I say that, Uga takes a shot in off the right post, nearly in, but need to be a little more accurate on those.
And then Pander gets the payback demolition on Dark.
We have a little They have a little back and forth rivalry here, it seems.
And yeah, PGX Pander already has a goal and a savior. 3 goals on the match so far, so yeah, he's definitely taking over.
All right, 45 seconds left here, and once again, Pander. We are going to take it from the view of, I believe it was Easy Street right here. Watch him take this shot in. He aggresses the ball, but then Pander wins it over him, and he actually flips out of the way of the ball. If he chose the wrong direction to flip there, if he would have flipped forward, he would have blocked it, but he actually chose to flip and matrix the ball, not hitting it whatsoever.
Yeah, he was just a little bit too far away. He didn't really commit until the last second. So
and those are those scary offensive attacks right there, where you hesitate just a fraction and you get beat by just a fraction because you don't know who's going to win the ball. And ooh, rough defense out of here for Gotta Blast. 4-0 out of Personally I Prefer the Air. Not much to say about that goal, except SG gets a beautiful flick back, beating 2 members of Gotta Blast. Totally unexpecting that. Just hitting it off the back of his car, using that backflip motion, not to really hit it very hard, but just to get a slow lob over 2 defenders. I think one of them was out of position, but the other one just got beat.
Yeah, I think for Gotta Blast, they were just trying to be aggressive. I mean, down 3-0, they were with 30 seconds left. I don't know. I'll give him an excuse for that, but it's not really going to matter.
SG and Pander kind of hitting each other, but up 4-0, it doesn't really matter. 8 seconds left. I don't think Gotta Blast is going to pull this one out, and I think that Personally I Prefer the Air is going to go up 1-0 in this set thus far, and there it is. That probably would have been a goal, but time goes out.
Yeah.
And Personally I Prefer the Air from University of Maryland goes up 1-0 in this set.
Yeah, and if you're on Gotta Blast, you got to hope that they did not just set the tone for this series, because that was a big win to start this one off. PGX Pander with a hat trick and a savior. He was all over the field there. Let's see what Gotta Blast has in them. Maybe they'll change up their strategy a little bit. We'll see.
And as you were saying yesterday, the second game is the most crucial in your opinion, because it is that deciding factor between a tie match and going down 0-2, having to win all 3 of the next games in a row in order to come back in the series.
Definitely. So, yeah, I'm hoping they can push back and make this an interesting series.
Again, we got Personally I Prefer the Air on the orange team and Gotta Blast on the blue team. Gotta Blast has got to make something happen in this next set if they want to beat out this aggressive PGX Pander team. PGX Pander has shown that he is the first one up on the ball, but his teammates are definitely not lacking in skill whatsoever. So yeah, I think this is a team we've seen thus far. Some of the teams, quote unquote teams we've seen, have not put in every single member, but this team is doing it thus far. We're going to take it from Uga's position here. Watch this pass up. Actually gets deflected by his own team in the middle of the ball, the middle of the field actually, and doesn't quite get up to it. The attackers right there were first to it. 1-0, 15 seconds in from Personally I Prefer the Air.
Yeah, Gotta Blast needs to do something to try to regain the momentum. Hopefully they can at least score a goal.
All right, Uga right here with a good play. Beating one defender, kind of pinching off to the other side of the field. I like that play out of him, not clearing the ball into the wall, but rather getting it up on the back of his car and dribbling out to the corner, trying to get something out into the midfield, not as a pass.
Yeah, and I think for the whole 40 seconds of this match, the ball has been in Gotta Blast, and they need to make a real clear, get some real offense going. Finally, they're able to get it.
All right, a little bit of bang-bang passing going on right there. Not really intentional, but kind of right spot, right situation thing. SG with a clear off the ceiling. Not very good clear. Uga gets a shot in. That was his opportunity to score right there. He's kicking himself for not putting that a little more on target, but the pressure is still on I Prefer the Air side, and no pressure right here. Look at this. Orange has all day to try to get this out. There was no attacking pressure on this side of Gotta Blast right there, and you've got to think that if they want to score, they need to keep up pressure. I think they need to take the 2 kind of close to the goal and 1 sweeper position, because Orange is not getting the clears, but Peanut Phobia. Let's take it from his perspective right here. PGX Pander actually dunks the ball way up in the air, and Peanut Phobia just gets a triple, quadruple touch in the corner right there, just kind of trapping it in the goal. Not the prettiest shots, but he just eventually managed to find the back of the net. Personally,
it's kind of just been broken plays that have cost Gotta Blast 2 goals, but I mean, That's what happens when you keep on the pressure. Good things happen when you keep the offensive pressure on.
It's the capitalization out of I Prefer the Air that has really impressed me thus far. I haven't seen really very many good passing plays or sets, but they're keeping the ball on the other side and capitalizing when the ball gets centered like this. Just like that, PGX Panther collides with Uga. Uga gets the stuff on him and kind of stalls in the middle of the net. Easy Street Panther trying to pass it out to his team there. Not a very effective pass there as Panther's ready there to intercept it. Plays it off the wall back into the middle. Two members of blue up right there, up to get it, but Uga dribbling it over to the side. Again, patient play out of him, grabs the full boost. Usually when you're dribbling, if you can manage it, you want to dribble in the direction of a boost pad or a full boost. That way you can get full boost as you're coming around the ball, because an effective dribble needs boost, just as an effective aerial needs boost. You can't really make any quick turns or power the ball forward if you're sitting on his empty tank trying to dribble.
Yeah, and Uga's showing that he has moves. I'm hoping he can get the ball a little bit closer to the net next time when he's dribbling it.
Uga with a quality clear here. Darklift trying to get a pass out of there. Didn't quite read the bounce right. Easy Street taking this ball slow, puts it high up in the air. I like that clear. SG with a clear back into the field. Oh, two members of orange for going for that ball. Blue can get up here. No, but SG was already over there as he made that previous save, kind of stalking the wall over there. A member of Gotta Blast. Two members of Gotta Blast miss. SG beating the defense, setting it up for Pander. SG completely breaking the ankles over here. Gets over one, dribbles it over the second, and sets it for PGX Pander coming in to strike it home, and takes an excellent shot, by the way, in the upper portion of the goal. The defense was positioned well there to block a shot, but he took an unblockable shot in that scenario.
Yeah, SG already has 3 assists in this series. He's showing he can set stuff up, and of course PGX Pander can knock it home.
PGX Pander showing this control out of. We've seen the motif of him knocking the ball right in front of him and flying immediately up to get the second touch. That is an effective strategy when you're trying to beat someone on defense, because they have to use boost, and 2, they have to judge when you're going to hit it in order to block it. It's harder than it looks to block, and you really have to be ready for it. PGX Pander just all over this ball. He's going to rotate out here, let SG kind of set up. Doesn't leave immediately for this set. Almost gets a great touch in there. Incidentally a set, but SG missing the shot in, and Peanut Phobia not anticipating that miss out of his teammate and not there for the shot back in. In the pressure out of We Prefer the Air, the ball has been in Gotta Blast side for at least a minute and a half now. Hasn't even crossed the side of the field, and as I say, they push it back over.
Yeah, and taking a look at the stat line, personally I Prefer the Air has 8 shots so far in this game as a team. Gotta Blast has 0. So, yeah, no offense from them. Oh,
great pass from SG from into Pander over there in the corner. Sees his teammate there and hits it at him on a bullet, hoping that Pander can take a shot in. No going, but that kind of tight passing like that is what you'll see from very, very high-level teams. Even in the pro level, that is a very effective play, because if you hit it straight at your teammate on a bullet, you don't give the opportunity for the defense to come intercept it. Tight passing.
Something set up here. Oh. Peanut Phobia with a nice clear, not even going to give him a chance, not even going to make him think, hey, maybe we can score one.
Yeah, Peanut Phobia on with the set here. That is a really brilliant setup there, but a little far off the goal. PGX Pander looks like he didn't even read the bounce correctly, but this ball gets around Easy Street, and Peanut Phobia dribbling into the corner over there, getting a set off the pinch, and Peanut Phobia. Look at this pinch as he sets it over here. He doesn't have the angle to get around it, so instead he takes a narrow angle and flips into it and pinching it over into the front of the goal over there and bangs it home for an easy goal. 5 seconds left on.
Sorry, for the second time in a row, it's now 4-0 for Personally I Prefer the Air, and looks like it's probably going to finish that way unless somebody can tap this in.
All right, Personally I Prefer the Air takes that game 4-0. And if we look at the stats over here, we're seeing a giant goose egg from shots on the side of Gotta Blast. You can't win if you don't shoot. So
yeah, they're not even really getting close to getting any shots. I mean, Personally I Prefer the Air is just so relentless in the offensive side of the field. They're pretty creative. I mean, they're able to score in the aerials. They're able to get the ugly goals right on the ground. It's tough to defend against that constant pressure. They just need to be able to get a good clear. Hopefully they can.
And in this scenario, I'd say I Gotta Blast. It's going to be a tough crawl out of here if they manage it, but where they're going to find their effectiveness is in the aggressive play of personally I prefer the air. There have been instances where 2 or more members have gone for a shot because it's open. They almost have to bank on them missing in a spectacular way and forcing a great clear down the field to an open goal. I mean, I really don't see...
yeah, they haven't really missed much from
yeah,
what I've seen.
I really don't see Gotta Blast here scoring while a defender is in the goal for personally I prefer the air.
Yeah, Gotta Blast has got to blast a little bit harder if they want to be able to win a game in this series.
And I haven't seen Jimmy Neutron in such a long time. I can't think of any good puns out of I Gotta Blast other than...
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Those were the days, though.
But I mean, I wish I had that kid's hair. That kid's hair, it defied physics for sure.
It certainly did, yeah. Which the rest of the show was so physically accurate, you know, scientifically accurate, rather.
Of course, nothing but the most accurate science available out of cartoons. That's where I learned most.
Educational. Yeah.
I mean, if I ever go and want to study, I turn on the television, turn on Cartoon Network, and that's where I learn all my information here. Uga with the dribble on the ball here, beating one defender. A little slow in that dribble, didn't quite get it under full control before he got swept up by Peanut Phobia. Peanut Phobia making a good setup here, and Uga tips it out. SG with the ball back in. Good setup here. Not the best set, actually, as it flips a little too far. And this is what I'm talking about. But PXG Pander prevents that great save by getting in the way. And that could have been a scoring opportunity for Gotta Blast there. That clear was coming in with a lot of power, but Pander comes up and blocks it. Darglyph seeing a lot more defensive poise out of here for Gotta Blast, but there's only so much. The dam can only hold for so long. It's only going to be a matter of time until, personally, I prefer the air puts it in the goal.
Yeah, but Darglyph already has 2 shots in this game, so the whole team has 2 more shots than they did in the last match, or excuse me, last game. So, I don't know. They might get game 3.
And
I
we're
think they're
seeing
gonna want it a little bit more this time.
we're seeing the same situation here going in, and like I said, the ball was on the side of blue for the whole minute and 30 seconds of the first game as we transitioned over to Peanut Phobia as he comes up here and takes an aerial, and actually his teammate was the one who scored it. Rather, SG on the score there. He's gonna get actually, who scored that? PXG Pander. I am sorry.
Sorry.
The person I was following didn't score it. But you can see up there, he beat that one defender to the ball just narrowly and tipped it over him, keeping that offensive pressure in. And I wanna go follow someone who's going to be sweeping in the back to see the position of Orange here. As PXG Pander moves this back up, we'll stay on him for a little bit because I feel like he's playing a little bit of a sweeping scenario. See, look at this. SG and PXG Pander up. No one else on blue team up. You want to have this 2-on-2 offense, and right there, Peanut Phobia is there to take the clear. And as we transition back out to SG, SG is already back behind those two. Then he rotates up.
Defended by his own player.
And then he rotates up, and PXG Panda right here, he's taking this striker position, allowing his teammate to run up and set the ball as he's there to strike it off of one wall bounce or perhaps an aerial shot. That is the rotation you see out of top teams, and I think this team is just that.
Absolutely, yeah. When one man goes up to shoot, got to make sure there's one man back. It's just that simple. Nice
Uga.
save by Peanut Phobia.
Uga with a shot in there. Good save out of Peanut Phobia. Knocks it off to the side. Not a quality clear, but at least they're shooting on the goal. It's a little bit closer of a game this time, but it could explode into a skill. It could explode into another 4-0. But I'm really liking the defensive poise out of Gotta Blast. They're showing they're not going to take this pressure. I mean, they're trying to hold the levee, that the levee's eventually going to break.
Yep, Led Zeppelin said it best.
I mean, I would start singing, but I don't think you want to hear that.
I do. I really, really do.
Maybe in the after hours of the stream, I'll kick that back on. But we got an exciting match of Rocket League here. With personally, I prefer the air up 2-0 and a pressure I'm seeing out of here. Got a blast ball up in the air. Darkleaf trying to take this aerial, but misjudges it.
Too high.
He tilts his car up way too high, gaining too much loft and not enough forward momentum to get to that ball. But Uga keeping the ball in. I'm seeing a lot more offensive pressure out of Gotta Blast. If they can keep this up, hopefully they can find the back of the net with one of these passes. Darkleaf puts the ball back in. Uga comes in with the block. right to Penophobia. Penophobia actually not judging that bounce correctly off the ceiling. His ball is still in for Gotta Blast. Easy Street coming in to take the ball right here. Knocking to his team. Again, Darkly taking the shot, but it's still a pass in. And Uga, there we go. 1-1, ties it up. Lots of passing right here. Darkly, he intended to take that shot, but sometimes actually the best pass is a missed shot. And another thing he did right there is he actually bumped the goalie. He bumped the goalie out on his way out, and I think that's what ultimately led to that goal right there. I don't know if it was intentional or if he was just kind of sweeping around and managed to hit him, but like I said in previous games, I think Gotta Blast needs to get physical, but right there, just PXG Panther killing spirits once more. Let's see what he sees right here. As he takes his ball, he's the first on it, and just Easy Street flipping out, not taking the rotation back to the goal. Mispositioning by him, but gotta be a killer of momentum for Gotta Blast after just getting that tying goal. 2-1.
Gotta Blast only scoring 1 goal so far in these 3 games. You gotta think they're probably not gonna be able to get one in here. I mean, the most sustained pressure we've seen out of them is like 30 seconds in the other zone, and I mean it's been like 3 minutes at a time almost.
Ugo.
Personally, I prefer the air.
Ugo with not a very good save right there, but his teammates are there to battle him out. 30 seconds. Gotta Blast has got to get something going. I know I've used that one already, but stay with me. PXG Panther with an open net right here. Nearly cuts it around, but Penophobia rather. Nearly gets it around, but doesn't quite cut it hard enough. And Gotta Blast, a block right there. Easy Street up in here. SG dribbling it over to the wall. But, ooh, the member of the Gotta Blast right there. Need to get that block in. That was their chance to keep the momentum up. Only 3 seconds left. Can they get it going? Ball is right up in front of the air. Right in front of the goal. Can someone score? No. It is defended with poise from Personally I Prefer the Air, and they will take that series 3-0. But a much more convincing and competitive match in that last set. Very exciting stuff from Gotta Blast. GG's out of them. But like I said, Personally I Prefer the Air takes that game 3-0. And look who's at the top of the leaderboards right here. PXG Panther.
Yeah, I mean, shots were even in that game at 6 apiece, but still, I think Personally I Prefer the Air still dominated the match for the most part. I haven't seen all the teams play that are in this tournament, but I think my favorite right now is probably Prefer the Air.
You like them?
Just dominated another team that was undefeated going into this one.
For sure. I think they have good competition against Internet Gangsters that we saw earlier in the week. And as before, I'm going to take this opportunity to show off our fancy new banner in the stadium. So hang with us as we get right back into this match. We did this yesterday, and we're going to do it again, folks. Look at this. Actually, we'll go on the blue side this time. Look at this banner. Straight. It's drawn all across this wall right here. So if you're ever playing Rocket League, look at this and think of us. We are the Spring Showdown, sponsored by ABGL. And shout-outs to Psyonix for putting that in the game. A really, really nice touch there.
And
all right,
you know
Rob.
What? I have a request for the viewers.
Uh-huh.
If you want to, in the middle of a game, just completely disregard what's going on. Go over to that wall, take a picture, make sure to do hashtag AVGameLeague, and send it to us. Might get a retweet or something. Just, yeah, like I said, don't even pay attention to the game.
Yeah, just be our social media robots and get us out there.
Absolutely.
So I did this. I did this a couple games. I did this last game with Andrew, and I want to go over what you thought was good from each team and what you thought was bad from each team. Feel free to pick one of the sides, and I'll go from there.
Well, from Personally I Prefer the Air, I think what I liked was their rotation abilities. They always had at least 1 or 2 guys pressuring on offense and always made sure there was the sweeper back, because anytime Gotta Blast tried to make a clear, it was eaten up immediately by that guy that was defending.
Yep.
They didn't even have a chance really to get out of their own end.
For sure, for sure. And I want to say Gotta Blast's strength for sure was, I think Uga slowed down the pace of the game enough to get his team in correct position, because there was a lot of scenarios where there was people diving across the field, and I think it takes a little bit of just slowing down the game. The Personally I Prefer the Air was playing very fast, and great job from Uga to slow the game down and get his teammates back in position. I don't think they're a bad team whatsoever, but Personally I Prefer the Air had the edge on them in that set. So what do you think was the negative aspects of Personally I Prefer the Air? They were looking pretty great, but every team has something to improve on.
Let's see. I mean, they really dominated each game. I guess what I would say was when they did miss that ball, I mean, God Blast didn't really have any great counterattacks that made them pay for their mistakes, but sometimes they were missing those aerials, and God Blast could have had a chance. There were some nice dribbles from Uga, but yeah, they were usually able to get the ball out of harm's way.
Yep, and I'm going to go ahead and say the thing to take off of that match from the side of God Blast is they need a stronger defense. They couldn't make those clears past that third man out in field, kind of sweeping the ball. They're going to need to get those clears either higher and longer or pass it to your teammate who can then take the shot over another player. But they really got to work on getting that ball out of their side of the field. It was I wish we had like a little stat to show possession, because I think Personally I Prefer the Air possessed that ball at least 70% of those matches.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, we are going to take a short intermission and place a little bit of jams for you guys as we get the next set of teams in, as we got a whole new set of teams to get in here, 3-0 versus 2-1, and we will be right back, guys.